Hey there guys, today I'm going to briefly explain why catcher ability is so important in OOTP. So before we actually hop into a game, first I am going to pull up some data. So that massive amount of data on top you can pretty much ignore because I was running that before I knew that my computer could handle a lot of sims at once. So I ran sim modules from the league I set up to be a neutral setting, which I will post the link in the uh, comments or yeah, so that you can see it if you would like to set up a league similar. So I ran a sim module 100,000 games and I found the K per 9 and walks per 9 issued by the pitching staffs of each respective catcher ability of these ratings will be on the 1 to 250 scale, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, and 200. So as you can see, they progressively get larger. The lowest at 60 was 7.87, and the highest at 200 was 9.14, so the difference was very large. And for BB per 9, went from 3.14 all the way down to 2.59. So I have these numbers on the bottom, which is the difference from the mean, which is just this number subtracted from the 100 grade catcher ability. So if you'd like to convert these into the 20 to 80 scale or 1 to 100 scale, all you have to do is subtract the average number from the minimum number. So in other words, on the 20 to 80 scale, that would be 50 minus 20. On the 1 to 100 scale, you can just leave it as is. And then you multiply by this number. So for 40% worse, you would multiply, for example, the 30 that you get from subtracting 20 from 50 by 0.6, which leaves you with 18, so that would round to 20. And then you add back the minimum number, so that would be plus 20, and then you'd have 40. So this would be approximately your 40 grade catcher ability down here. This would be about 45 grade, this would be about 50 grade. Down here you have 80 grade, and you get the idea. So anyways, I'll post all the resources you need to see my data and such in the comments. So anyways, let's go to the game itself and I will briefly show you how much of a difference catcher ability makes. So the first thing we're going to do is go to my test league. Alright, I'm now going to set the catcher abilities on the two extremes, and I will normalize catcher arm, which was the thing I have been messing around with most recently. So this team is going to have 20 grade catcher ability. And this team we will give 200 grade catcher ability. Alright, now we're going to run a sim module to see exactly how effective each is. So when I run my 100,000 game sims, that takes a very long time, so I'm just going to do 5,000 for this one, and this should give us a pretty substantial sample size, and this will not take too long. It should only take about a minute. Alright, it's almost done. Okay, so as you can see, the Marauders, who had the very poor catcher ability, only got 6.85 K per 9 and allowed a whopping 3.86 walks per 9. The Trailblazers, with the very good catcher ability, got 9.16 strikeouts per nine and 2.53 walks per nine. And of course, the records were way different. So, in other words, a team with very, very terrible catcher ability, basically people who shouldn't even been playing at the catcher position, against very, very competent catchers. The difference is it's huge. So this is a 5,000 game sim. This team won. This team had about a 600 winning percentage, and the only difference was catcher ability. Now, of course, the difference is much less against your average catcher ability, but as you can tell, it's a huge difference. I estimated that the difference between top-notch catcher ability and average catcher ability is approximately 8 wins, since your ERA difference is going to be a little bit higher than half a run, and as a result, you are going to see approximately 80 fewer runs allowed over a full season. All right, now let's go into my primary sim, and yes, this is the first time I'm showing it to anybody, and we will quickly check out some of my catchers and why I have them. So this is going to be not exactly what I'd suggest you do. I will tell you that bit after I show you the guys I've been using. So my starting catcher for many years has been likely future Hall of Famer Ben Stutz. He's been a very good hitter. He didn't hit 400 that year. Okay, he almost hit 400 in his rookie season. He's been a very good batting average hitter his entire career. Only his most recent season hitting significantly below 350. He's had an on-base percentage of 400 or higher again every year except last season, and he's slugged very well as well. He's got a lot of silver sluggers at catcher, and the big winner here, though, is the 70 grade catcher ability. So, with my high end staff, which does not necessarily have a ton of control, but we've got a lot of stuff, as you can see. Now, I've got some high control pitchers, but primarily we've got a lot of stuff. So, same thing when you go to my bullpen. So, you see my top notch catcher being able to handle them very well. Now, with my backup catcher, you got somebody with even higher catcher ability. So if he has to start a game, my pitching staff is going to get an even bigger boost to make up for his lack of offense, which actually isn't that horrible. But in the trade where I got this guy, let's see what I gave up. So I gave up another catcher who was arm first and a useless center fielder, and I got him and a very good prospect in return. Uh, so yeah, it's very easy to get your high catcher ability guys. So let's also take a look at my farm system. Not these guys. Okay, well that guy had 70 ability, so I like him. I do not know where he is. Okay, he's on my 40-man roster though, I know that much. Okay, here we go. So Juan Miranda is my third string catcher right now. He is an average hitter in every regard except for home run power, where he's not great, but he has 70 grade catcher ability. So he is absolutely uh, an ideal third catcher because of his ability. Now, these are not necessarily the guys I would recommend you get if you were me, because Ben Stutz costs me about 10 million a year, which I'm willing to pay because he's such a good hitter. But generally speaking, you don't want to be paying your catchers that much. So we're going to list all MLB players, and we are going to do it by catcher ability. So these are going to be the best ability-based catchers in the game. This is the guy I would recommend you using as your starting catcher. Now take a minute to let that soak in. He is 2 stars overall, he has a 40 grade arm, and he is a downright awful hitter. Well, he's not awful, but he's pretty bad. So why am I telling you to use him? Actually, no, I'm going to sign him to a minor league deal right now. He, with that 80 grade ability, is going to make up for any offense that he hurts you with by a huge amount. He will provide you, if he is your starting catcher, about 8 wins with that ability over average. Average, not even replacement. And With this offense, I'm assuming he's probably going to hurt you at the absolute worst one win. Especially visiting lower in your order, he's probably not going to have that much of a negative effect on your team. So this guy is very cheap, and he's going to provide you 7 extra wins upon your average catcher. You can probably lock him up 10 years, about $1 million a year. Obviously, he's 36, so you wouldn't do that. But if you were 26, you might consider it. So this guy is definitely, this type of guy is probably the cheapest, most effective player you can get in all of OTP. I'll be back soon with my research on catcher arm and the effects it has. But uh, as for now, just assume that catcher arm is nice to have, but it's very much a luxury compared to catcher ability, and very much consider offense a luxury to have. Catcher arm is probably about equal to offense. Neither of them are important. Catcher ability, number one thing to target in your catchers, period. If you see somebody like this, they are an absolute bargain to pick up. Alright guys, well that'll pretty much do it. There really isn't too much to talk about in regards to catcher ability, just how massively important it is to winning games and how much of a difference it can make on your pitching staff, especially when you've got higher stuff pitchers. So I hope that you guys can put this to good use, and I will see you guys on the next one.